What is up, my fellow memesters and nerds? Welcome back to the Hipster Spider-Man reviews, and welcome, my fellow Marvel and DC fans, or possibly of both. Okay, no, that's not possible. That's not possible. People like that don't exist. I don't exist. But I gotta say, this week has been a big week for both of them and a major W to the DC fans. One that they've been needing for a while, honestly, because they haven't had one for a long time, and this has just been one of the biggest W's in recent DC years. And I'm going to get into that, which is weird to say because I think Marvel made a mistake, a big mistake. They got too cocky, and they are the big dog. They are the big dog. But but if you remember back in the day, Marvel was actually the underdog. They were the underdog. They didn't have many like famous superhero IPs. Their most famous were Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Spider-Man. And uh Spider-Man was the big one, right? He's still like probably the most popular superhero of all time, right? But DC had Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, of course. Like they were killing it back then, and no one really cared that much for Marvel. They went bankrupt. They sold all their things, so they couldn't make movies based on off their most popular IP, X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and they started the Marvel Cinematic Universe with just the Avengers, and it blew up because of their marketing strategy, because of like how good the films were. And, like what I mean by marketing strategy is like how like their genius way of doing it by having like them introducing the characters and then building up towards the Avengers. That's why that's how Marvel overtook DC, and DC just didn't have the patience. They just did the Justice League right away, and a lot of people thought the Justice League failed. But there was a cut that was 4 hours long that fixed many of these problems, gave more time to the characters. I still think they should have done uh separate origin stories for all of them. Even Zack Snyder says that, but that DC didn't have that liberty. However, but the Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, and and it was a rumored cut. It was like the unicorn of all movies. So the thing, and it is a movie. It's a 4 hour cut of a movie. So Marvel made a big mistake releasing Falcon and the Winter Soldier the day before that, a movie that people didn't even think existed. There were so many people like who just disrespected fans who believed Zack Snyder, and disrespected Zack Snyder, who the studio took his movie away from and made into not like a Frankenstein of a monster of a movie that is barely recognizable, especially after you watch the Snyder cut. I just watched the first 30 minutes of it. I want to make a comparison video, and I wanted to make a review of Falcon and Winter Soldier first, but I found this really interesting. Uh, first because even before they both came out, I was feeling I was like, wow, Falcon and Winter Soldier is almost out, and I'm more hyped for Snyder Cut, which never happens for me. Like I'm never usually hyped for more DC things, but I was there when they announced it happening, and people were so mind blown away. But these people were like, "Oh, it's not gonna be good." Like the same people who said they didn't believe it was a real thing. They disrespected fans so many times, and they came out. Most of them said, "Hey, I was wrong," but no, they gotta apologize to the people who they clown on, because they're the true clowns, and we'll remember who you are, who disrespected all the fans and Zack Snyder. Okay, you don't just apologize. You don't just say you're wrong. You say you were wrong and you were an asshole. Because that's quite frankly what they were. Um, but but the Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's fair to say, completely rocked the internet. Like I wasn't very hyped for it before, because like it's just a different, it's just a different cut. I was just more curious because I didn't know what was going on. And it's a weird thing because they spoiled the movie. They spoiled the Snyder cut a lot. They like I wish they didn't reveal Joker would be in the end. I wish they didn't reveal many things. They had to hype it up, sadly, because I wish this was the original release, right? And I'll get more into this in the my Snyder Cut video. But the what really helps the Snyder Cut is that the theatrical release existing. helps the Snyder Cut, but also kind of damages it at the same time because we couldn't have these major reveals, which maybe Falcon and the Winter Soldier will have. But now, after watching WandaVision, they made a mistake releasing that first, not being able to finish it, having a rush finale, and disappointing many, many fans with Kevin Feige's decision that after saying the series are important to the movies, now he's saying you don't have to watch series to understand the movies. That's a major mistake. I feel like they don't know who their audience is anymore. I think they've fallen off kind of because they have to know who their audience is because 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 if you watch the movies, a lot of them you have to watch the previous movies to understand them. All the people who watched all the other movies are gonna watch the Disney Plus series. It's just those casuals who are not gonna watch every movie. So of course they're not gonna watch every show. They'll if they don't watch a Disney Plus movie show, they're just not gonna they're gonna understand it as well as if they don't watch most of the movies because most of them, if they're a casual, they don't watch all of the movies. And but the hardcore guys, who usually the people who watch all the movies, are gonna watch the show, so it makes no sense. Like it seems like they don't know their audience, especially casting Evan Peters just to do a joke. Like that was horrible. Like didn't they not learn from the Mandarin twist? But WandaVision left a lot of people disappointed by their lack of reveals because they didn't want to go too big. They want to save that for the movie. So they made a big mistake here. So that's part of the reason people weren't as hyped. I wasn't as hyped for Falcon and the Winter Soldier because they messed it up the first time with WandaVision. I haven't made a finale video, but I'm gonna make a huge rant on that. It was horrible. Like WandaVision, I'm gonna say it was horrible. It was horrible. It was a disappointment, a letdown to all fans. It was disrespectful. It was just garbage, honestly. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the first episode was amazing, but I think Marvel made a mistake because if you look at the online reception, you look at well, it's good, but if you look up the online hype, look at the online hype, everyone's still talking about the Snyder Cut. No one's talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Snyder Cut's gone. It's gone. It's already happened, but Falcon and Winter Soldier is still happening. It's gonna be more episodes. It's gonna gain more hype over time, but it's gonna take a while. I think it's not gonna reach the level of hype it could have because of this. Because Marvel got too cocky because they thought they were the big dogs now. DC, they keep switching things up. They don't know what they're doing. They're having multiple cinematic universes now. They don't. But Marvel shouldn't have put a 40-minute TV episode right before one of the most hyped. I'd say the third most hyped comic book movie of all time, honestly. Because other than like Spider-Man No Way Home and Avengers Endgame, because this was the unicorn of all movies, basically, as people say, the legendary movie. And I wish they didn't spoil it, but here's the thing: they had to get hyped because it was a different cut. But most people were interested on how it's going to be different. I started really getting really hyped when I heard they brought back Ben Affleck for reshoots, the Joker, like so many things. Right? We already heard so many things, and it was the same story, but man, it was so different. Like it was like it just and it kind of benefits from having different theatrical release because it makes the movie look so good. But at the same time, I wish we could have had those surprises. And Falcon and Winter Soldier might have some, but I'm starting to be doubtful with how WandaVision was. But it looks really good right now. But yeah, if you look everywhere, a lot of people are talking about it, and Marvel's gonna take a while to recover. I think the best thing for them to do is work with DC, say that like to support each other, kind of, because everyone's gonna lean towards the underdog, and then they did towards Marvel, and then the underdog is gonna become the big dog, and it's gonna flip flop. But I think Marvel made a big mistake being so cocky to release it uh 1 day after the Snyder cut, and it's really showing by the online hype and everything. Even before that, I was the first time I was more hyped for a DC property than a Marvel property. It's crazy, but it was a 4-hour movie compared to a 40-minute thing, and there's no hype for the Falcon and Winter Soldier, especially compared to WandaVision, which was a sitcom, and everyone was so going crazy, and it let us all down, and they made a mistake by putting that as the first series. I know because of COVID, but they should have waited. They should have waited. I'm saying it. They didn't finish it. The finale was rushed. So that's my stance on it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna have my Snyder cut video soon and my Falcon Winter Soldier video, so stay tuned. And a WandaVision rant. I'm gonna make weekly videos for Falcon